Why wasn't there a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer released during the Super Bowl? I think this question is on a lot of Marvel fans' minds, especially mine, because the Super Bowl is usually the time of the year where like a lot of big movies will show a trailer or like a little quick mini trailer of their movie that's coming out sometime this year, and then they'll release the full trailer online a little bit later on or the next day or whatever, where you get more of a look at what's going to happen in that movie based off the trailer and all that stuff. But surprisingly, this year, with two big movies coming out this year, Marvel did not choose to release a trailer for either one, those being Spider-Man Brand New Day or Avengers Doomsday. Now, you could argue, we got a couple like little mini teaser trailers for Doomsday earlier this year, like closer to the beginning of January or whatever, but they didn't really release anything during the Super Bowl. And why exactly is that? One could argue it's because of the money. Like this year, I guess the Super Bowl ads cost a lot more this year for people to release a trailer or whatever, just pay for a 30-second commercial. I guess it cost a lot more, and maybe Marvel and Disney didn't want to get involved with that. But seeing how there was technically a kind of trailer sort of commercial with The Mandalorian and Grogu to promote that movie, you would think that Marvel would have wanted to hop onto that train as well and show at least some sort of trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, even if it wasn't the full trailer yet. But with that being said, I think Marvel did this on purpose. I think they chose to not have a trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day just yet for one very specific reason. Because I think it's going to spoil something that happens at the end or close to the end of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. I've been seeing rumors popping up lately where there's going to be some sort of team-up movie in the future with Spider-Man and Daredevil and some other heroes facing off against Kingpin and his regime to try and save New York and that kind of thing, based off of one of the comic books where this happened. And because Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is in the same year that Spider-Man Brand New Day is in, and because we've seen that the Punisher is going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, I think all of this is going to tie into each other in some way. But how exactly is that going to happen? What exactly is it all tying into? And how does Daredevil Born Again connect to Spider-Man Brand New Day? That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Here's how I think all of this is going to go down, what Marvel is planning with some of these characters and that sort of thing, and why exactly they chose to not have a trailer released quite yet for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, as we know, Kingpin has been popping up a lot in the MCU over the last couple of years. He first made an appearance in the Hawkeye series. He was technically the main villain of that. And of course, Maya Lopez from the Echo series was his niece, so he was in that show as well. And she also confronted him and shot him at the end of the Hawkeye series as well, if you remember. So I think because we've seen him a lot lately, I think they are setting him up to be the next big bad for more like the street level heroes. So people like Spider-Man, Daredevil, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, maybe even the other Defenders as well, because we saw Jessica Jones is going to be in this next season of Daredevil Born Again, and the Punisher and those kind of characters. And so I think whatever Kingpin does in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is going to coincide with what's happening in Spider-Man Brand New Day. It may not be like directly connected at first, like maybe a post-credit scene or something in Brand New Day will show that Kingpin was behind all of the events that play out in that movie. Like maybe the villains that Spider-Man faces in this movie will be directly tied into Kingpin's plan to take out vigilantes and to combat vigilantes to save New York, which is like his whole campaign thing in the first place. And we know that, he's basically rebuilding his criminal empire and everything. He's got the police in his back pocket and all that stuff. So I could see, Spider-Man trying to react to all that kind of stuff and sort of join the fight against Kingpin for that reason. And so I think the majority of Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is going to be Kingpin building up his army. I think it's not just going to be the police and this anti-vigilante task force that he's creating. I think he's going to also be adding some like super villains to this as well, or villains that both Spider-Man and Daredevil have put away in the past. Maybe people like Bullseye, who I know kind of has issues with Kingpin, and tried to kill him in season 1, but I think he might come around because he just hates Daredevil also. He could be part of Kingpin's, task force. He might get Scorpion, release some of the criminals that Peter Parker has put away and Daredevil may have put away as well. And that's where you could get something maybe like the Sinister Six or something along those lines in the MCU for the first time. It's all orchestrated by Kingpin to fight against these vigilantes. So it's not just Spider-Man taking on the Sinister Six. It'll be Spider-Man, Daredevil, and all these other heroes teaming up to face them. But I think this all kind of is going to start in Born Again Season 2. We're already kind of seeing it. Jessica Jones is going to be teaming up with Daredevil for maybe one episode or something, whatever. We saw her in the trailer for this season. She's going to be helping him with something. Whether or not she plays as big of a role as Frank Castle did in the first season, it remains to be seen, but I think she's going to play some kind of pivotal role either in this series or going forward as part of that team against Kingpin. There's been theories and rumors and everything about who's going to be part of Daredevil's army and that sort of stuff to fight back against Kingpin, and I think it'll be people like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, maybe the other Defenders as well. I think maybe Kate Bishop, Echo will be part of this as well. Maybe even the Thunderbolts, depending on when this takes place in relevance to the Thunderbolts movie and everything. Because they're also in New York, I guess, technically, because their headquarters is the Avengers Tower, as we saw at the end of that one. And since Kingpin is running roughshod across New York and everything, and will be causing all kinds of chaos to fight against these heroes, I don't see why they wouldn't want to get involved in that. Or at the very least, maybe Elena Belova would get involved or something while the others are off doing something else. But I kind of agree with the theory that all of this is leading to a team-up movie of some sort. And I think the way that Marvel's going to go about this is that team-up movie will come out next year between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. But I think it will still be set before the events of Avengers Doomsday, because it wouldn't make sense for these characters to just be fighting to save New York and everything when there's multiversal stuff going on and there's incursions and the multiverse is about to explode and there's Doom and all this other stuff. I don't think they'd be worried about New York at that point. I think these heroes would jump into action and help the Avengers. So if this team-up movie that's being rumored and everything comes out next year between Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think it'll still take place before Doomsday and then tie into Secret Wars. Whatever happens in that movie, by the end of it, these heroes will then start to see the events of Doomsday playing out, and then they'll jump into action, and they can join the Avengers in Secret Wars and help to save their universe and that kind of stuff. So we can finally see Daredevil on the big screen teaming up with other Avengers and not just Spider-Man like we'll see in that team-up movie. And it's kind of similar to what they did with Captain Marvel and stuff. Her movie came out between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame to kind of set her up as a character so that she could then play a role in Endgame, even though she wasn't in Infinity War, and her movie took place before everything that's happening, but then the end credit scene, tied her in with the events of Avengers Endgame. So that's kind of where I see all of this going. I think Marvel wants to finish off Daredevil Season 2, as well as the Punisher special presentation whenever that comes out. That's also coming out this year, I just don't know when in relation to Spider-Man Brand New Day that it's going to come out. But if that also comes out before Brand New Day, I think that's why Marvel is holding off on releasing this trailer for Brand New Day, because they don't want to spoil what happens in those two shows, because it may directly tie into the events of Brand New Day. Something big that happens in Born Again Season 2 is going to correlate with something that's going to happen in Brand New Day, or the entire plot of Brand New Day and that kind of thing. And I think it's smart, if that is what Marvel was doing, waiting for that to happen and waiting for these events to play out first. I think that's smart on their part. If they would show the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, for example, and it shows or references things that happen in Daredevil Born Again before Born Again even comes out, or Season 2 rather, I think that would kind of just ruin Born Again for us and wouldn't make us want to go watch Born Again Season 2 because now we kind of know what's happening in a way. So I think if that is the route that they went, I think that's smart on their part to kind of hold off on the Spider-Man trailer until after all of these events play out. Then we'll know for sure that these events tie in with Brand New Day and we may be getting a team-up movie in the future. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Why do you think Marvel held off on releasing a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer? Like, do you think it had to do with anything that I just said, or do you think it had to do with just the money and them not wanting to release a trailer because of that? Let me know all that down in the comment section. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. And check out all the other Marvel content we have on this channel as well. Throughout this year, I'm doing a bunch of list videos as we get ready for Avengers Doomsday and everything, where I'm talking about things from phases 4 and 5, such as the movies and heroes and that sort of stuff. So keep an eye out for all of those. If you haven't seen my first one that I did back in January, go check that one out as well. And as always, thank you for watching the video, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.